All right, we're going to start with creating some light rays. So let me delete this and we're going to start over. So we're going to create some light rays using a basic gradient. Now, what I want you to do is come over to your gradient, to your color picker right here, flip that. That's your foreground color. So white is now at the foreground. And what we're going to do is we're going to come down here to the adjustment layer. That's a circle with the white and black, and we're going to choose gradient. Now, with this going here, this is going from a solid white to transparent. What I want to do is I want to change this to angle. You'll notice what it's doing is it's got kind of a straight line here in these pieces. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to make an adjustment by double clicking on this gradient editor. So this is giving me options to change. For this, I'm going to change this to noise. And right now it's giving me some randomized things happening. I want to bring this color mode to HSB, which stands for hue, saturation, and black. And I'm going to bring this all the way back down to white. So now it's giving me kind of black and white colors that are coming up. Then I can hit randomize a couple times. I might come back to this in a minute. I really want to have something where it's mostly light colors, but we can always make adjustments to that later. Go ahead and click that first OK. And then go ahead and click OK here. Now, right now it's covering the entire thing. First thing I want to do is I want to change this to screen. Pardon me, that's my coffee maker. And I'm going to go ahead and I can move this around, but I can only do it if I'm inside of this editor. So I had to double click on this piece right there. And then now I can kind of move this around. I'm going to bring this up so I can kind of see the rays kind of coming down onto this person that's in the forest. So I'm going to do something like that. Now you'll notice it's pretty heavy. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to come in next and I'm going to go ahead and add in an adjustment layer. So for this, I'm going to come in and I'm going to do a levels adjustment. And I want this levels adjustment to only affect this gradient fill and not the background. So I'm going to press Option. And notice when I move my mouse down between these two layers, it gives me this hook layer. We've seen those before. It's called a clipping mask. It makes it so that this is only affecting the layer underneath. Now your histogram right up here, this is showing you where all the darks, midtones, and lights are in an image, may look a bit different, but what I can do is I can play around with this slider and start to bring this back. And notice now it's starting to kind of bring the rays coming up. I can even take this darker one and start to bring this in. And so you can kind of play around and experiment a little bit with it. I think something like that looks pretty good. So I played around with just moving the gray point. If I grab the white point, it adds more white to it. So it's going to kind of depend on your gradient, but I want to be able to still see the lines coming through, but we're going to make some adjustments to this. The white is a little heavy. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to grab the adjustment layer again. Whoops, let me undo. I meant to grab adjustment. And we're going to do hue and saturation. And again, I'm going to clip this. So I'm going to go in between these two layers. I'm going to hold down my Option key. That'll turn into this little hook arrow. And then from here, I'm going to colorize these. And I'm going to bring this hue up a little ways. And I want to kind of get some like a little bit of a yellowish gold, maybe like 35, 36, somewhere around there. And then I'm going to come back down to my gradient fill. If it's a little too heavy, I can actually drop the opacity a little bit. And that will bring in those light rays. So I turn off all of those and you can see this one added in the gradient. This one adjusted how dark the darks and lights were. And then this added a little bit of color. Go ahead and save that one and move on to the next.